Hi, this is Mark Farnham with Apologetics for the Church and another Every Believer Confident podcast. And with me today is Jeff Mindler, our research assistant. And last video, we talked about all that happened in 2025 with the ministry. And today we're going to talk about what's in store for 2026. This is especially for those of you who would like to attend one of the events we're having. We'll make a lot of these public in the months leading up to them. But I'm excited to tell you that our entire 2026 is about 80 to 90% full. I'm waiting on two churches, two possible regional conferences, and then our entire 2026 will be fully booked. So that has never happened before, where before the end of one year, the next year is booked, but we're excited that that's happening. So let me take you through some of the things that are going on in the coming year, and Jeff is going to jump in. This is also the first year, really, where multiple members of our team, Jeff and some of our interns, are doing their own events or speaking at different events on their own. And so that is one of the goals of this ministry, is to multiply. And in the coming year, we're hoping to take on 6 or 7 new interns that we've selected, and the goal is within a couple of years that they'll be doing their own sessions at conferences or maybe even holding their own conferences. So starting off at the beginning of 2026, on January 27th, I'll be preaching in chapel at Lancaster Bible College. In February, I'll be at Ebenezer Bible Fellowship Church in Bethlehem for the whole day. They have Sunday night theology, but I'll be there in the morning as well. On Thursday, February 19th at 6 p.m., I will be doing a Q&A time here at LBC, and that is for our incoming students. It's part of a class called LBC 101, where they learn the basics of life here, of study of college life, and we'll be doing an apologetics Q&A that night. And then toward the end of February, I'm going to be at a Christian school apologetics conference north of Philadelphia. There's a number of Christian schools there, and I've done this twice in the past, and it's gone really well. We're hoping to get 3 or 4 Christian schools together on a Friday morning to bring in their junior high and high school and do presentations on apologetics and also to answer questions. So right off the bat, in the first couple of months, we are busy. And then our first major event that we are sponsoring ourselves, first event in a couple of years, we're going to be doing on Saturday, March 7th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., a conference up in Ephrata, just north of Lancaster, called Answering the Big Questions. And we have one of our friends, Mark Lamontia, who is a retired scientist from DuPont, one of the top scientists there during his career. He's going to be doing a couple sessions on science, or we're going to be doing a couple other sessions on issues such as who is Jesus and the problem of evil and suffering. And that actually has a limited attendance possibility. And so when we release the information on that, if you're interested in that, please sign up right away, because the facility that we're using, there is a limited number who can come to that. And then Friday, March 13th, I'll be speaking at the International Students Incorporated Regional Conference for all their leaders. So about 100 or so leaders at colleges and universities, Christian young people. They'll be coming together, and I'll be doing training in apologetics there. And then in the months of March and April, I'll be doing an apologetics class in the Sunday training hour at Wheatland Presbyterian Church here in Lancaster. So that'll be the last 3 Sundays of March and the last 3 Sundays of April as well. Jeff, you've got some events going on around that time too.
Yeah. So the first one that comes to mind is mid-March to end of March for about a 3-day span. I was asked to teach a 3-day apologetics course for a gap year program down in West Virginia. So these are students who've graduated high school and are taking that gap year to see if they would want to pursue college. Sometimes this is all they do, and they go into the full-time workforce. And the class is specifically going to be an apologetics class. So
Okay.
it'll be great 3 days of intensive study and being able to interact with the students there down in West Virginia. The site is beautiful. I've been talking with the director there, and he's told me more about it and the kind of students, and they are hungry for apologetics. They want to know what they believe, why they believe it, be able to defend it and proclaim it in the public square. And so I'm really looking forward to that time of, that 3-day intensive course with these students, teaching them the basics of how we defend the faith.
That's good. I don't know if I've ever done 3 full days of apologetics in a row, so I imagine that'll be a lot to take.
Yeah, it's going to be an intense time, but it's going to be just thinking through, how to approach it and make it engaging with the students. I mean, one thing I love is role play. Putting on my unbelieving hat and interacting with students. So it'll be a really practical. Here's arguments you may hear, and really expose them to the wider world of unbelief and equip them to be able to answer those questions. So it'll be an intense time of study, but it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it.
It's good. And then in early April, you're doing something really unique with our interns.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So one of the new initiatives that we're doing this year with our interns is we're going to be visiting different religious services. And so the first one up on the schedule is in early April. We are going to be visiting the Jehovah's Witnesses, and specifically their Memorial Supper of the Lamb. This is a big event that they do right near Easter and Passover, where they all gather together to celebrate what they call the Memorial Supper of the Lamb. And they invite outsiders. They invite anyone can come to it. And so what we're going to do with our interns, and this is one of the exciting developments of our internship where we're kind of growing and expanding some ideas, is actually for 2 months prior, I'm going to lead our interns in an in-depth study of Jehovah's Witnesses history, theology, how they approach the Bible, and then how would we engage and respond to some of their core claims. And so it's going to be an intense study of that, and then again, giving them those practical apologetic tools to be able to engage and ask meaningful questions. So we're going to spend a period of time preparing for this event and going there with a clear mission of, hey, we want to be faithful witnesses of who Jesus Christ is, his gospel, and we're going to look for opportunities to talk with Jehovah's Witnesses about the nature of who Jesus really is, because that's a big dividing line between historic Christianity and Jehovah's Witnesses. So we're going to spend a lot of time preparing for that, and then go into the heart of Jehovah's Witnesses and try to reach them and be a faithful witness for Christ and his gospel.
Awesome.
So,
and you've thought of some other ideas in the future, if we had the budget for it, things to do with the interns. Share some of your thoughts about those crazy, ambitious, apologetic ideas.
Yeah. So some ideas, and this is, dreaming, kind of thinking big about, if the Lord blesses our efforts and we're able to grow and expand. One things I would love to do is take that basic idea, but then make it bigger. And so train people of taking what I call apologetic field trips, evangelism and apologetic field trips, of training up groups of people. So whether maybe it's a youth group from a church, and our interns are going to play a vital role in this of helping train, but taking these trips to, a Mormon temple and in witnessing to Mormons, or going to a large college campus. I think, Penn State, that's, the big school here, although there's local ones that are a little smaller. But having those immersive experiences where we provide training for, it's a multi-day kind of thing where you're doing intense training, you're debriefing, then you're training again. But just giving people that firsthand opportunity of engaging unbelievers with the gospel and
Mhm.
providing that firsthand training. So
Good.
that it would be great to do that with large groups, and plan those trips. But we need support to be able to do that. So if that's something that interests our listeners, then we'd love to talk with you about what it would look like to make
Yeah.
that happen.
You've talked about flying out to Salt Lake City and doing something with
Yep.
Mormons there.
Yep. Yeah. Flying out to Salt Lake, the kind of the heart of Mormonism, and engaging them firsthand. But there's a lot of opportunity. I mean, we could go to New York City and engage just people on the street, Philadelphia, any major metropolitan area you could do this in, and just being intentional. But then providing that training for others and showing them like, hey, you can do this too. And we're going to train you. We're going to disciple you in that sense. And we'll do debriefs. And so, yeah, that's kind of the dream big. But we're starting small, with this initial Jehovah's Witness experiment with our interns, and see how it goes. And in April, I'll report back, see how things went. So for
Sounds
our
good.
listeners, stay tuned.
Yeah. Further on into April, on April 11th and 12th at the Church of the Living Christ in Loysville, Pennsylvania, which is a little bit northwest of Harrisburg. I'll be doing a 2-day apologetics conference there. Jeff, here is a church that does an apologetics conference almost every year. And I have often recommended to churches and to pastors, if you want to really build a culture of engagement with the lost, this has to be a constant thing because...
Yeah, I was going to say, why is that so important?
Yeah, the knowledge leaks, the passion, the confidence leaks. In this church, this is my 4th time going in the last 12 years to this church. And the last time I was there about 2 or 3 years ago, I not only did a conference for the adults, but on a Saturday morning, I met with the teens. And it was probably about 25, 30 teens in this church. And this church is out in the middle of nowhere. And the teens came in bleary-eyed and tired. It was a Saturday morning. A lot of them work. It's a big working community. And I thought this is going to be a real challenge to get their excitement going. But after we got a little coffee and sugar in them, these teens asked such good questions. And they would share stories of their engagement with their unsaved friends. I mean, this culture in this church has not only affected the adults, it has infected the youth, and they're active. And so I hold up this church as an example of one that is intent, not just in having a one-off conference, but in building this culture of engagement with the lost where it is just expected and it is just part of the culture that every person in the church is going to be looking for opportunities, getting encouragement from their brothers and sisters in Christ, and going out there and talking to unbelievers in their lives. So I'm excited about going back to the Church of the Living Christ.
That's fantastic.
In May, we have one of our rare 3-day conferences. This is in northern New Jersey at Sparta Evangelical Free Church, and it'll be a Friday to a Sunday. And one of our prize graduates here from Lancaster Bible College, Finn Clifford, is a youth leader there, and he has had a passion for apologetics since he took my class here years ago. And so he's going to put on a 3-day conference, and that'll be a big event. We're going to have a lot of sessions to offer and hopefully help that church equip them. We normally take only one event a month, but the second half of May, actually the second week of May 11th through 13th, there is a Faithful Shepherds Retreat for pastors and people in ministry through P&R Publishing, and it's held at Harvey Cedars Bible Conference on the Jersey Shore. So if you're a ministry leader or maybe your pastor would be interested, this is not an apologetics event, but there's going to be several speakers beside myself, and this is a time of encouragement and refreshment for pastors and ministry leaders. So if you'd like to send your pastor or someone in your church to go to this, it's for husbands and wives. It would be a great encouragement. We have a conference pending in July. We're waiting to hear final word on a church in the Philadelphia area. August, we will be putting on our second event of the year. First event will be in March. Second event will be Saturday, August 8th. And this we're going to call the Every Student Equipped Conference. So it'll be in Lancaster here. location to be determined, but it will be for high school and college kids primarily, others invited as well, to prepare them to go into a culture of perhaps hostility at their college or their high school.
Yeah.
And so we're excited about doing something youth-focused, and our goal is to equip the students with confidence and courage that they can engage unbelief all around them in their schools.
And the strategy here, specifically doing it at the beginning of August,
Yes.
is very intentional because it's right before that back to school season. So you're equipping these students as they're about to return to, that whether it's college or, high school starting back up, and we're equipping them with these tools to be able to engage their fellow classmates who do not share their convictions, do
Right.
not share
May
their
even
Christian
be
faith.
hostile.
Yeah, and how do I, as a junior in high school, how do I engage people who are antagonistic to the gospel? And so equipping them with these tools to be able to engage them in that context, and because that can be a very difficult space
Yes.
for young people to be in. So we want to intentionally equip and strengthen them to be able to defend the faith in that arena.
Yeah, it's good. On Sunday, August 16th, all day long, I'll be at Limerick Chapel in Limerick, Pennsylvania, just north of Philadelphia. On Saturday, September 12th, I'll be out at the Bible Chapel in McMurray, Pennsylvania. Our team might end up going as well. This is one of the largest churches south of Pittsburgh, multiple campuses. But we're going to be doing a one-day apologetics conference for the Bible Chapel, and they're expecting to fill their largest auditorium there. Then our final event sponsored of the year will be Friday and Saturday, October 2nd and 3rd here in Lancaster. This one I'm really excited about, Jeff. We're bringing in Robert A.J. Gagnon, Dr. Robert A.J. Gagnon, who is an Ivy League trained expert, probably the foremost expert on what the Bible says about homosexuality. And so we're going to call this conference the Holy Sexuality Conference. It'll be a Friday night and an all-day Saturday. And Robert Gagnon has been one of the few courageous voices teaching clarity on what the Bible teaches about sexuality, specifically about homosexuality, but also gender. And I'm really looking forward to having him. He is a man that I admire because of his courage and clarity and expertise.
Yeah.
We've heard him debate before, and no one can touch him in a debate.
And he literally wrote the book
Yes.
on the Bible and homosexual practice. It's a 600-page, no stone left unturned.
Yes.
Just a Class A scholar on this
Yes.
subject. And so his ability to speak clearly on these issues, where a lot of things we see today are people speaking unclearly. They muddy
Right.
the water. There's a lot of fog.
Or compromising entirely.
Yeah. And when there's fog in the pulpit, when pastors aren't sure, there's going to be confusion in the pews. And so Robert Gagnon's ability to speak very clearly about this is what the Bible says, and this is how we engage folks who take a different position, and how do we engage them with the scriptures. He's the foremost expert, in my opinion, on this subject. So it's going to be fantastic.
Yep. He's super clear and compelling. He's a fascinating speaker. His ability to recall off the top of his head is just amazing.
Remarkable.
So please put down Friday and Saturday, October 2nd and 3rd on your calendars to come to Lancaster and come to this Holy Sexuality Conference. And then the final event of the year, although we're still waiting again on a final word in early November of a regional conference in the Philadelphia area, so that may be filled in the next couple months. And then toward the middle of November, out in Colorado, is the annual Evangelical Theological Society meeting, which is 3,000 Bible scholars and theologians come together, evangelical theologians. And the theme this year is defending the faith. So the theme this year is apologetics. And
Very
so,
appropriate.
We will get to go out and hear and participate. I plan to present a paper as well on the leading and latest research on apologetics. Should be a great time. So we have a busy year coming, and we're all excited about this. That we've been working toward this for a number of years and expect that in the future our time will continue to be occupied with conferences, seminars, opportunities to train and equip Christians to engage unbelievers effectively with the gospel. As we mentioned before, we hope to expand our intern program this year to add 6 or 7 mostly younger men who have shown incredible promise all over the Northeast, not just in Pennsylvania here. And our goal is to multiply our ministry through them. So if you would pray, because our goal is not to be the apologetic ministry that everyone goes to. Our goal is to multiply ourselves so that out of our ministry comes dozens of new apologetics ministries.
Yeah.
I'd love to see in every region of the country, especially in the Northeast where we are, every region, every county, to have someone trained who can minister and equip the saints and the churches to do apologetics for the engagement of unbelievers with the gospel.
Yeah.
So that's our plan in 2026. Will you pray with us? Will you consider giving to our ministry and continue to uplift us before the Lord that He would bless our efforts?
Yes.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this video and would like to find more resources on apologetics, go to apologeticsforthechurch.org.